Hello and welcome to Thought for March the 2nd. Our readings are Leviticus chapter 7, Psalm 106 and 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And our thought is, those who are of heaven. Our reading of that well-known and oft-quoted 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians graphically illustrates a principle that is made again and again in God's Word, that there is no middle way. Our ultimate future is black or white. Paul goes to great pains to emphasize this. Some in Corinth were doubting that Christ's resurrection literally happened. This would be the continuing influence of the convictions they had had as pagans. One it was hard to put out of their minds. Still, having pagan friends would not help. How can you say there is no resurrection of the dead? He challenges them. If Christ was not raised, then our preaching is vain, and your faith is in vain. Verse 12 and verse 14. Paul then contrasts the first Adam with the last Adam, who became a life-giving spirit, we're told, in verse 45. Those who do not become related to the last Adam, that is, to Christ, will remain related to the first Adam. And Paul then uses the contrast between heaven and earth, that is, dust. We are related to one or the other. He says, as was the man of dust, so also are those who are of the dust. And as is the man of heaven, so also are those who are of heaven. Verses 48 and 49. Do we feel we are of heaven? It's one thing or the other. Of course, it in no way means we go to heaven. Verses 35 to 45 make that very plain. The natural body becomes a spiritual body when it is raised to life again. But just as the world around us is showing even more plainly that it is of the dust, so we must respond by making it more and more evident that we are among those who are of heaven. The final verse of this chapter challenges us, as it challenged them, that we should show this in a particular attitude to life. Therefore, writes Paul, my beloved brothers, and that includes sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labour is not in vain. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, where together we can open up the pages of God's Word, knowing that Word to be a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.